I'm Girlybunches, and in this week's video I'm going to be showing you how to do some filet crochet. It is a very traditional form of crochet. It's probably been around as long as doily making has been around, and you might associate it with kind of more vintage style things. And yeah, you'd be right, it has been around for a very long time. It is kind of the very first form of dot matrix pictures, I would say, because it is all designed around a grid pattern, and the blocks that make up the grid are either completely filled or left empty. Now, there are some more advanced techniques which involve sort of only half filling some of these blocks, but I just want to start off in a nice, easy, kind of gently break you into it kind of way if you've never done it before. I'm sure you've probably seen it before, but I'm going to show you sort of like a little quick introduction to it, and then we're going to do this heart-shaped pattern with a slight variation to it. Like I've mentioned, each block is either left empty, so you end up with, a hole, or it's filled. And when you fill it, you're filling it with just treble stitches. So you may know that as a double crochet, but I'm British, so I use British terminology, and that is a treble. So if I hold it up like this, it's a little bit tricky to see, but there is a heart shape here, and on this darker background you really can see it standing out. Now on the camera it's actually really easy to see, but in real life I actually struggle to see the pattern once it's made. So that's probably why I've not done it before, because I do struggle to see it. If I hold this one up, now you see it, you can see it perfectly well through the camera, but from my view here it looks a bit like that. Well, actually you can see it really well through the camera, but it shows up brilliantly on this dark background, this bit of felt I've got here. I'm going to show you how to work out how many stitches you need and how you're to read a pattern with this, because you will find that most patterns for this kind of for this type of filet crochet will look like this. So there aren't really any instructions. There's some key indicators on where you should start and where to go. But apart from that, it doesn't tell you how many stitches you'll need, and it doesn't really tell you how big it's going to be, and it will always show you as being a nice square pattern, unless it's supposed to be sort of specifically rectangular or other sort of shapes, which I'm going to come to in later videos, but this one we're just going to start off with this nice easy pattern. So the reason why they don't really give you how many stitches to start off with is because they leave it up to you as to how many stitches you want to incorporate into each of your blocks. So this pattern here I've worked 3 times using the 3 different numbers of trebles that are normally involved in each block. So this one, which is the most square, is probably the most normal kind of ratio that you would go to, and that is to have 4 trebles for each block. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. But you will have an open block which will have 1 treble, 2 chains and 1 treble. So the 2 chains make the open block, and then the 2 trebles on the other side make the grid. So this one has got 1 treble either side to make the grid, and then is filled with 2 trebles, but it's 4 trebles altogether. Okay, so this one, try and get this to focus. See, that's quite difficult to see the pattern there. So that's what it looks like to me when it's not on the dark background. So you've got 1 treble here and 1 treble on the other side there, and then you've just got 1 chain space here. So a filled block would be 1 treble, 1 treble, 1 treble. So that's the middle one, and then you've got the 2 sides that make the grid. Okay, they're always trebles, okay? And then this one is the wider version, and this one will have 5 trebles. So you've got 1 treble here and 1 treble on the other side to make the grid, and then you'll have 3 chains to make that open block. Or here you've got 1 treble and 1 treble, and then 3 trebles in the middle to make that a filled up block. You can see it's not, it's not like drawing a line with a ruler. It's definitely a little bit wonky, and you do get wonky edges if your block has open blocks at the sides. but that's part of the charm, and there's nothing to stop you from just doing a row of double crochets, or you may know them as singles, just around the edge, just to tidy up that edge. So, you know, don't fret if you don't get nice straight lines. It isn't normal to get straight lines. I'm not the best at this, so my edges could be straighter. So if you're more practiced at this, then there's no reason for you to be watching this video. But you know, a bit of blocking definitely will help in these kind of types of patterns. Yes, this is the world's longest introduction. Sorry about that, but I really just wanted, this is just an introduction into filet crochet, and I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to start showing you how to work this particular pattern. So I've got this chart here, and I'm going to put this on my blog, so you can go ahead and look at that online, so you don't have to kind of rely on this, and I'll put the link to my blog down below. This is a very common filet crochet chart pattern. You'll notice I've got numbers going up the sides, so the numbers indicate what your first row is. So remember, in crochet we work right to left, so this will be our first row and this will be our second row. Not all patterns are symmetrical, so don't assume that just because it's the same this way it's the same going the other way. So you'll need to read it as we've got a row of open blocks here, and this one is we've got one open, then we've got this many closed ones, and then one open. The third row will be the same, will not be the same, it will be open, one closed, and then open, closed, open. The fourth one will be one open, one closed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 open, one closed. Okay, I think you're getting the idea. Okay, so the numbers on the sides indicate that you're going to start at the bottom and work your way up to the top. To work out how many chains you need in your foundation or ground row, I think they're called ground rows in filet crochet, but for ease of, for the ease of learning, we're going to call it our foundation chain. You'll need to know how many blocks you've got going across, and then you need to times that by a certain number, depending on, as I just showed you, the different numbers of trebles that you'll use in each of your blocks. So the most common, like I said, is to have 4 trebles in your block. So that's what I'm going to use that method to work this out with. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 in our block, but one of those, that end one, actually starts off the next block. So we've actually got 1, 2, 3 in each of our blocks. So even though there's 4, we're only going to count 3. We're going to times each of our blocks that we have by 3. So we've got 15 across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we are going to do 15 times 3. And that will give us a number. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Now, on this pattern, our first block is open. So we will now have to add a certain number of stitches to accommodate this open block, and it would be different if your block was filled like this one. So this is open, so I need to add 1, 2, 3 chains, which will replace our treble. Remember, I'm British and I use British terminology. And then we want 2 chains, which would otherwise be trebles, but in this case we want to leave that open. So we've got 2 chains here. So once we've worked out this number, we then need to add 5. Okay, if we were starting off with a closed block, we wouldn't need to accommodate the 2 chains here because they will be filled up with trebles. So all we would need to do is add 3 to replace our first treble. So if it's a closed block, you plus 3. If it's an open block, you plus 5. Okay, so a bit of common sense maths later, and that will be a total of 50 chains. Right, I've got my 50 chains already done, and I'm choosing to use some double knit yarn, which is a far cry from this nice delicate cotton that I've used, but I really want you to be able to see what I'm doing here, so I'm going ahead and doing it in this rather large double knit yarn. So, and there's nothing to stop you from doing that, and I'm probably just going to adjust my camera just a little bit so that you can see all that I'm doing. Okay, that's a bit better. Right, so I'm going to get my chart out, and I've done that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm now going to do a treble into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain along. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the first 3 are going to be a treble. Then we've got the 2 chains that would be our gap, and that 6th one along, I'm going to do the treble into that one. And that is our first block. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 2 because we're going to have 2 chains to replace the 2 trebles. I'm going to skip 2 chains, and into the 3rd chain along I'm going to do a treble. Okay, so our first row is just made out of open blocks, so I'm going to come back when I'm going to start my 2nd row. So I'm just going to repeat that, 2 chains, 1, 2, and then skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, and then to the 3rd one along I'm going to do my treble. Okay, so I'm going to come back when I've got to the end. Right, there we go, we've made a tiny little ladder for someone very small. Okay, so that is the first part, and as you can see it's very wide, much wider than this because I'm using double knit yarn, but it's much easier for you to see what I'm doing here. Okay, so on to the 2nd round, and in the 2nd round we are going to show you how to do these, and I don't think it's going to be too difficult for you to grasp this, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Okay, so we're going to chain 5 because we need to add enough chains to be a replacement treble, and then 2 chains for the gap. Get that to focus, there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to turn and grab some more yarn. Okay, so we're going to do 1 treble into the top of the next treble along because we're making an open grid at the sides. Okay, so there we go. Remember what I said about those edges, you know, they're just not going to be ruler straight, so don't fret. Okay, and then this part now is all filled in blocks until the very last one, which is an open one. So to do the filled in blocks, you're just going to do 2 trebles into that open space. Simple as that. Okay, and then the next one along you'll do a treble into the top of the treble. Because this is grid work, you are always going to do a treble into the top of a treble that you come across. Okay, we're not getting into the fancy half ones yet. Let's just start off with the nice easy ones. And so whenever you come across a treble like this, you're going to work a treble into it, but we're doing filled in blocks, so instead of doing 2 chains we're going to do 2 trebles. Okay, so there's my next treble along, so I'm going to do a treble into the top of that one, and now we've got open, 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 closed, closed. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to stop here because then I'll show you how to just do the open one again, but I'm sure you're probably ahead of me, and I'm going to come back when I get to that point. Okay, so there's my 2nd row done, and I've just got one end there, 1 block left to do, so I'm going to chain 2 because I want this to be an open one, and then I'm just going to put a treble into the top of that 3rd chain, like so, and that makes my 2nd row end. So the pattern now continues with always having an open block and a closed block, but I'm just going to quickly show you how to have an open block, a closed block as your first one. So you literally chain 3 chains, turn, and then you're just going to do 2 trebles into that 2 chain space, and then 1 into the next treble along to make your grid. So I'm just going to quickly show you that, so that if you now wanted to go off and do your own patterns, you could see that's how easy it is to start off your next your block. Okay, but that's not what the pattern here shows, so I'm just going to undo that. So again, this 3rd row, so now we're on this 3rd row, so that tells me I'm going across this way. So I want 1 open, 1 filled, then I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 open, 1 filled and 1 open. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to turn the work, do a treble into the top of the next treble along. Then I'm going to do a filled in block, so I'm going to do 1 treble into the top of the next one, and then 1 treble into the top of the next one. So that would be my 2 fillers, and then I need to do 1 into the top of that treble to make the grid. Okay, now the rest are open, well the next 11 are open, so 2 chains, 1, 2, skip the next 2 trebles, 1, 2, and then just do the treble into the next treble of the grid along, and there's my open. Okay, so I need 11 of those all together, so I'm going to come back when I've done that and just show you off the end row. Okay, so I've got my 11 open blocks there, just need 1 more filled in one, so that's 1 treble into the next 2, so there'd be my fillers, and then 1 into the next one along, which is part of the grid. And then just to finish off the row, an open block is 2 chains, and then 1 treble into the 3rd chain. The top of that 3rd chain that is would be a treble, and there we go. We are starting to take shape there. So if I get that pattern, you can see we've done row 1, row 2 and row 3. So there are 14 rows altogether, and I'm not going to go through every row because this video will be hours long. And so I'm going to come back when I've finished this pattern, because you're literally following the same principles. So if it's a filled one, you put 2 trebles. If it's open, it's 2 chains. Okay, so I'm going to come back when I finish doing this whole block. So there we go, I have finished the whole panel. Magic of editing. It only took me a few seconds. Yes, no, it took me much longer than that. But yeah, it worked out pretty quickly actually. And with the bigger yarn, you can see the pattern a lot easier, I think. If I hold it up like that, you can really see it. And like I said, do you remember what I said at the beginning about how your pattern will look nice and square, but in reality it won't be, so don't get upset if that is the case. And that's why working a few samples to see what sort of you would prefer, whether you would prefer it to be narrower and taller or wider and more squat, you know, that's, you know, kind of what those samples were all about really. So absolutely briefest, quickest introduction I could do for you on filet crochet, because I know it's a long video, but I've tried to condense it as much as possible and show you how to make something at the same time. Like I said, do go ahead to my blog, you'll see that image, so you don't have to kind of keep pausing this, and obviously I don't cover the whole pattern, so yeah, you can see it there. And I do cover again how to work out how many stitches you need at the beginning. I also put in there about how many stitches you'll need if you're using the different widths of block, so if you're using with the 1 in the middle or the 2 or the 3, so all the formulas are there for you to use and get your calculators out. And yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this. I would love if you give me a thumbs up. Let me know if this is the sort of thing that you're enjoying seeing. If not, I don't mind if you put a thumbs down, but why not tell me why you put a thumbs down? Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up now. I really like this, and just on the final note, you could do this in the double knit yarn, and you could do these in different coloured blocks, and then you could crochet them together or sew them together, and you've made yourself a blanket or a table runner or something. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and take care, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Just before you go, why not check out my last video uploaded before this video and click on that box in the middle there. On the left hand side, why not click on that subscribe button, and on the right hand side go and check out my Patreon page if you want to. I'd love it if you did that as well. Okay, thanks, bye.